Howdy y'all and welcome back to the channel. Challengers is the newest film starring Zendaya, Mike Faist, and Josh O'Connor that revolves around three tennis players revolved in a love triangle spanning 13 years. I know I'm pretty late to the game whenever it comes to Challengers, but I just had to make a video about this movie, you guys. I know it's all over film Twitter, but this movie is really good. In fact, it's my second favorite movie of the year so far, which I was generally surprised by. This movie seemed to have been marketed off of, look, it's Zendaya and it's two guys that are in love with her, and I was critical. Like, I know that the director directed Call Me By Your Name. He's a great director. I have personally never seen any of his other movies, but after this, I'm going back and I'm watching them because Challengers is just that good. But yeah, Challengers wasn't super appealing to me, but after I saw all the reactions, I knew I had to make it a top priority to go see it in a theater as soon as I could. This movie did not disappoint, and it exceeded all of my expectations of it going in. So where to start with my praise? First off, this isn't a spoiler. This movie spans 13 years, and it toggles between what's going on in the present and what has been going on in these three characters' lives over the past 13-ish years. We see them go from, amateurs trying to rise up in their college years for some of them, to professional, their struggles, and specifically the relationships that each of the male characters have with Zendaya at some point in time. I'm not going to get into heavy spoilers, but you do see how each person's actions reflect what is going on in the present day, and after each, flashback, it makes the events going on right now even more important. I guess I can just come out and say it, right? It's in the first 2 minutes of the movie, but the two male leads are playing in this tennis match in the present day. And so we get more and more context as the movie goes on as to the gravity of this match, what it means to each of them. And you may be rooting for one guy, and then after one cutaway, you're like, no, screw him. I want to root for this guy. And then it just toggles back and forth. I have a real appreciation of movies where the lead characters are not likable. And this one, the three leads, you can find something to like about each of them, but they are not good people. Each of them does some shady stuff in this movie, and I feel like it's just really impressive for movies where it has such flawed characters that maybe aren't necessarily good people, but you are just so invested in what they are doing, what they're going through. And Challengers just is extraordinary on that front. And none of that is possible without the performances of these three leads, you guys. Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, Mike Faist, all of them are amazing in their roles. Zendaya is Zendaya at this point. I'm ready to say it. She's one of the best actresses in our generation. She may be the best actress in this generation. That's a pretty sweeping statement, but she's on an absolute heater right now with Dune Part 2 and Challenger. She's in my two favorite movies of the year, and her performance in Challengers is so understated. There's so much going on underneath the surface with her, and she comes across as a very unlikable character, and in a lot of ways she is. And the whole time you're trying to find her motivation. Like, what is her angle here? Is she a real person? She's like, sort of like a Tiger Woods-ish sort of athlete, where she is just so good at one point where people, like, aren't people to her. Her entire life is tennis. Like, Zendaya is Oscar-worthy in this movie. And frankly, Mike Faist and Josh O'Connor are as well. Mike Faist, I haven't seen a whole lot from him. I've only seen him in the West Side Story reboot. Now, he got a lot of awards buzz for that movie whenever it was coming out, and he is very good in that, but I wasn't quite sure what to expect from him because, for me, this is his sophomore effort. I haven't seen any of his other work. He is so good in this movie. But honestly, the best performer out of the three for me was Josh O'Connor. Maybe that's a hot take, but I'm a big fan of this guy. I loved him on The Crown as Prince Charles. I thought that he was just incredible on that show. And in this movie, he sort of plays the underdog, if you will, but in a lot of ways, he wasn't always that way. You just have to see the movie to understand what I'm talking about, but he's sort of down on his luck in the present day, and you sort of see how his decisions and the decisions of other characters have put him in that situation. Maybe not necessarily put him, but Josh O'Connor's so good here. He is just electric anytime he's on screen. The cinematography in this movie feels so crisp. That's the only word I can think of to describe it. And judging by the trailers of Luca Guadagnino, I think that's how you say the director's name, judging by the trailers of his other movies that I haven't seen, it seems like that's consistent across the board. So I definitely need to go back and watch/appreciate those movies. Something else that I've been telling people about this movie is I think it says a lot about a movie where you have 3 unlikable characters, you don't have an action scene, right? It's not a big summer blockbuster, but the stakes feel high. The stakes in the context of the movie feel high. To its core, this movie is just a love triangle. That's what it is. But it's told so well that by the end, everything feels like it's life or death. This tennis match between the 2 male actors feels like it's life or death. I was so invested by the end. I was so into it, regardless of who I was rooting for at that point in the movie. It didn't matter. The story was told so well and so effectively that there didn't need to be a punch thrown. And you were still that invested, or at least I was. This movie is also very surprising. These characters do stuff where it had the full audience that I was in gasping at parts. I was gasping at parts, but oh my gosh, it all just finds a way to work so cohesively. This movie has so much tension in it between these 3 characters. It doesn't matter at which point in time, there's just always tension there in some way. And it's an incredible movie, you guys. It's just a well-made movie. It's not trying to be this big box office, it's not trying to be this big blockbuster, right? It's just a great script told in a great way, performed to perfection by all 3 of the leads. There isn't a weak link in this movie. Everything about it is just so good. I feel like I have to go see it again because right now, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd because I was sure I would find something wrong with it eventually. But right now, sitting here, I'm feeling it's a 5 out of 5. This is just a really, for what it is, a really effective and gripping movie. I highly recommend it to everybody. There is a little bit of raunchiness in it, right? If you've seen the trailer, you know that, and there is raunchiness in the movie. So if you're squeamish to that, I will say the trailer makes it seem like that's what this whole movie is going to be. It's not the whole movie, y'all. Like, that's definitely an element of the movie. It's there, but it's not, like, graphic. It's not over the top. It's done really well. But let me know down in the comments, what did you think of Challengers if you had an opportunity to go out and see it? And if you like this video, be sure to like this and subscribe for more if you like this and you want to see more. I feel like this is the second awkward outro that I've had lately. This is why I can't take a break off of YouTube. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.